Welcome student in the last lecture of our first week, and in this we will be talking about ergastic substances, which are basically non-living inclusions or material which is found in a plant cell. In this we will be discussing about what are ergastic substances and what are different types of substances which are present in a plant cell. Now, they are non-living or non-protoplasmic inclusions or material which is found in a plant cell. Now, they are basically metabolic byproducts So, during metabolism, if it is catabolism or anabolism, so that means during synthesis as well as during breakdown also, and their nature could be organic or inorganic, and they are generally, it is said to be non-living material. They are found in cytoplasm, vacuoles or cell wall, and their main function is in defense, maintenance and storage. See, actually if we talk about that, they are non-living inclusion, but they have a lot of various physiological role in a plant. It's not that they are useless, they are required for various process, they are required for proper maintaining the cell shape and size, for proper maintaining the physiological and metabolic functions in a plant. They are also stored in different forms to be used for further use, and they are also required for defense against various environmental constraints in the form of biotic or abiotic factors. They can be soluble or insoluble, means they can be dissolved inside the aqueous environment, or they could be present in different forms, in different insoluble forms, like in granular forms or in the form of crystal, something like that. They will be present in the cells. Like for example, various starch is there, which is the storage product. You find gums and resins are there. So many things are there which we will discuss. Now, these ergastic substances are basically divided into three groups: reserve material, secretory material as well as excretory material. Now, first of all, reserve material. So basically they are reserve food. Now, everyone has a tendency of reserving food for their future use. So similarly, plants also accumulate food particles which are basically synthesized during the process of photosynthesis. So during photosynthesis, you have carbohydrate synthesis, and many more molecules will be synthesized from those precursor molecules. So these materials could be stored in different compartments or in different organelles or in cytoplasm, and they will be used for future purpose. Basically, they are required for nutrition of the plant, and mostly we will find them in those organs which serve storage function, like fruits are there, seeds are there, then underground stem, like for example tuber like potato is there. In storage, root also store lot of carbohydrates or many other reserve materials. So in those organs, these things could be stored. Now basically these reserve material on the basis of their chemical nature could be differentiated into carbohydrate, proteins and fats. Now carbohydrate, we all know that they are energy giving food. They are synthesized during photosynthesis, in which we know that the light energy is converted into chemical energy, and they are stored in the form of carbohydrates. The chemical composition of this carbohydrate contains, it is made up of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen, and the composition of hydrogen and oxygen is similar as that which is present in water molecule, that is double the hydrogen as compared to oxygen. Now these carbohydrates could be simple molecule or they could be complex. They could be soluble or insoluble depending on the nature of that compound. Now simple carbohydrates, they are simple in the sense that they are made up of smaller units, okay. They are not very big compounds, they are soluble in water, as we can see, like monosaccharides, which are made up of one sugar unit. Similarly, disaccharide are made up of two sugar unit. Now monosaccharide, we have example of glucose and fructose, which are commonly found in plant cells. Fructose we generally see in fruits. So these are source of food in the form of monosaccharides. Then we have disaccharide, like sucrose is an example of a disaccharide sugar molecule which contains sucrose contain glucose plus fructose. This is the most important sugar which is circulated in plants, and it is also known as cane sugar. Generally, commercially it is extracted from sugar cane. It is the common table sugar which we use, and it is widely present in plants. Similarly, one important disaccharide which also serve as a food reserve is maltose in germinating seeds. It contains 2 glucose units. Coming to more complex carbohydrate, they are known as polysaccharide. They contain multiple monomers and they are very big compounds. Many could be soluble, whereas some could be insoluble in water. Now, in which we have different groups like starch grain is there, inulin is there, then cellulose, as we have discussed, hemicellulose. So, we will also discuss them, that how they are useful as reserve food material. Now, starch cane is one of the most important reserve food material which is found in plants, and it is a source of important carbohydrate. Starch is synthesized in the chloroplast during photosynthesis. First of all, simple molecules are formed, and then larger groups are formed. So, it is present in chloroplast. It is synthesized in chloroplast. Then it is made up of multiple glucose unit, as we can see here, that starch, as similar to cellulose, it is also made up of several monomeric units of glucose which are joined together, in which they are joined together by alpha 1,4 linkages. As when we talk about cellulose, we have seen there was beta 1,4 linkages. That is due to difference in the orientation of the hydroxyl group that we have discussed there itself, in which we can see that the OH group which is present on the first carbon is on the lower side of the plane. So, that is why it is known as alpha D glucose. So, in this alpha glucose is used, and in cellulose beta glucose was used. So, this lot of glucose molecules will be joined together by this alpha 1,4 linkages, that is linkage from first and fourth carbon. See, first and fourth carbon is forming a linkage group. When this starch molecule is hydrolyzed, it will give rise to independent glucose units. Now, in starch also, these are present in the form of grains. They are granular structure, which we can see they are present in cytoplasm basically. Or it is stored in, actually it is stored in some important organelles like amyloplasts that we have discussed before. That large long-term and large storage of starch takes place in amyloplast, which is a special type of plastid, and it performs permanent storage of these starch. In starch also we can see different forms like amylose and amylopectin is there, which are straight chain and branched form of these starch. So, depending on the composition of amylose and amylopectin, the solubility of that starch can affect. Now, they are also found mostly in storage organs like root. You would have heard about potatoes which are rich in starch, like cereal grains are there, rice starch is there, even wheat also you will find starch. So, in cereal grains you will find starch, in underground root and stem, in seeds, like they are all seeds, cereal grains, and in fruits also large amount of starch are present. Now, these starch grains basically they appear granular, okay, and because large molecules of starch are joined together to form a grain like structure. Now, this grain, the shape of that grain can vary, they are of diverse shape and size. Now, every grain, when we will observe that, it will have a common point which will be known as hilum, and it will be a point from where the deposition of starch will appear in a starch grain. It will be deposited in a stratified manner, okay, layers will be formed, layers of that starch will be formed around that hilum. Now, this deposition can vary in different types of starch, Like they can, even a hilum could be present in a center and deposition can occur around it. Sometimes the deposition is one-sided. Okay, many a times different starch grains join together to form a compound starch. So a lot of different structural variation could be present in these starch grains depending on the plant type in which they are present. Now another important carbohydrate, we can say that it is inulin. Now it's not found everywhere. It's particularly we can observe that in wheat, in banana, in dahlia, in artichoke. These are common plants in which we can observe this inulin. It is also a storage polysaccharide and it is made up of fructose. So when it is hydrolyzed, we can find individual fructose molecule. This inulin, when it is crystallized, it forms a fan-shaped crystal. Okay, a fan-shaped crystal we can observe when if we try to precipitate this inulin molecule. Okay, the next important is glycogen. Although it's a very important storage carbohydrate, it is insoluble in water, but it is not found in plants. We all know that glycogen is present in animals and starch is the storage polysaccharide of plant. Cellulose and hemicellulose that we have discussed earlier, that cellulose and hemicellulose, they are found in cell wall. Basically they are structural polysaccharide, but they are also used as reserve food material when required. Pectins are also there, that we have also discussed, that they are also composition of middle lamella as well as they are also found in primary walls. But they could also serve as an storage polysaccharide, particularly in the fruits, and they are also soluble in water. Now the next important reserve material is protein. Although we all know that proteins are very important component of protoplasm, they serve various functions, like structural proteins are there, functional proteins are there. They are dynamically very active and they perform a lot of functions in protoplasm. But along with that, they are also stored as reserve food material, and different forms of proteins are observed in different plant species where they are also stored. So like gluten is an important protein which are stored amorphous type and in cereal grains of wheat. So they could be means they could have a proper crystalline structure or without a proper structure, that is amorphous form. So both type could also be present in different plant groups. We can also see this type of protein in alluron layer, okay, which is found in seed endosperm. Now in seed, like for example maize, okay, in monocot seed where endosperm is there, so we can see here that around this endosperm we have a layer which is known as alluron layer, and this alluron layer is rich in protein. So it's basically reserve material of protein which is found in this endosperm. In this we can see here that this endosperm surrounds a single cotyledon which is known as scutellum, and in that embryo is there giving rise to plumule which is surrounded by a covering known as coleoptile, and then radicle which is surrounded by coleorhiza. Plumule will give rise to shoot as well as radicle will give rise to root. Now fats and oils next are also important food reserve. They are also source of energy. Now fats and oils are also composed of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen, but the oxygen content of these fat is comparatively low when we compare them with carbohydrate, but they have more energy content as compared to carbohydrate. Now fats which are liquid at room temperature are called oils. These fats and oils are also found in storage organs, like they are found in seeds, they are found in growing embryos, and special plastid that also we have discussed. It's an elioplast in which large amount of fats or these lipophilic compounds are stored. Now coming to secretory materials, These secretory materials are those substances which are not classified as food, but they are separated from the protoplasmic content or the living content of the plant by storing these material in some special sacs or glands. Now, although they are not required as food, but still they are very important for plant survival. They serve various physiological functions in plant. Now, secretory material, basically few types of secretory materials are there, like coloring matter. Okay, they are also stored in some compartments. We know that pigments like chlorophyll, xanthophyll, carotene, these are stored in plastids. Okay, so they are stored in compartment. Anthocyanin, which is present in vacuole of epidermal cell, they also give color. Now, these are not acting as a food, but they are performing a lot of function. We know that chlorophyll and xanthophyll, they help in synthesis of food, they absorb light, they capture light and help in transferring the energy of light into chemical form, into converting different chemical compounds. Similarly, many colors, they attract pollinators and help in pollination. Now, these secretory substances, they will come out either through the cell membrane, like if the cell wants to push them out of the cell, they will form a secretory vesicle and the component will move out of the cell, or they could also be stored in the form of sacs or glands. Now, the next important one is enzymes. Now, some of the enzymes are stored in various vesicles, various components, compartments. Now, enzymes, we all know that they are biological catalysts and they break down simple complex molecules into simple forms so that they are more used up by the cell, by the living organism. So, they are also present in a plant cell. Then nectar is also very important secretory material, which is also basically it is present in floral parts of the plant. The nectar is a sweet substance containing sugars like glucose, fructose they contain, and they are synthesized by the plants and they are present in some nectar glands, and they either come out when the cell actually rupture, and these nectar are taken up by the insects, so they help in pollination. Now, another group of ergastic substance is excretory material or waste material. Now, from the name itself, you can make out that these are waste products, means they are metabolic byproducts which are not required by the plants, which serve actually not so useful purpose for plant, but still it is observed that there are many roles which are served by these excretory material. Now, plants lack a specialized excretory system for eliminating these waste, but still they have developed some mechanism to eliminate these waste in the form of like excretory vesicles are there, okay, or rupture of the cell. So, there are many ways by which these toxic substances could be excreted out of the cell. Now, some of the important excretory material include alkaloids, tannin, latex, crystals, then resin, gums are there. Now, coming to alkaloid, see alkaloid are complex nitrogenous compound. It is found in various plant. It's also a lot of different structures of these alkaloids have been reported. They are very toxic, in very small amount also they are toxic, and it is not only toxic to the plant, but it is also toxic to the animal. So, many a times these alkaloids serve as anti-herbivory you can say, or they help in removing, help in protecting the plant against these herbivores or insects. So, they have some role. They are bitter in taste, like for example, quinine is there, which is very important alkaloid which is obtained from bark of cinchona plant, and this quinine has lot of medicinal importance. It is used in the treatment of malaria. Similarly, morphine, caffeine alkaloids, then nicotine alkaloid, these are also obtained from various plant like morphine from poppy plant, then caffeine from coffee beans, nicotine from tobacco. Although they are very toxic compounds, but in small amount they also have medicinal properties. Important alkaloid vinblastine and vincristin, they are obtained from Catharanthus roseus. So they have anti-cancerous properties. Now tannins are also very important group of compounds which are actually, we can say that, excreted from the plant cells. They are polyphenolic compounds. They are very large biomolecules made up of multiple phenolic groups attached together, and they are present in cell sap of vacuoles. Now vacuoles, we all know that it's a organelle which accumulates waste. So those toxic substances accumulate in vacuole. These tannins are found in unripe fruit, roots of many plants, in wood. Okay, a plant having a very thick wood from which commercial wood is also obtained, then bark and leaves of the plant. Now unripe fruit, when we normally eat an unripe fruit like banana or any other thing, we have it tastes bitter. So that taste actually comes out from these tannins, and when the fruit gets ripened, these tannins are lost and then we get a sweet taste. It is obtained from bark of oak plant. Now tannins are also useful in plants because they prevent insect and pathogen attack. Now commercially also tannin is very useful. We can see here that from the wood that it is coming out from the gaps, and we can see here that the brown color of this wood is because of the presence of tannin. It is used in leather industry for tanning of leather, like skin of animal. So to make a proper leather, this tannin is used. Similarly, it could be used in dye industry and to make inks also, and in various medical applications also these tannins are used. Now next important ergastic substance which is found in plant is latex. Now this latex is basically a sticky emulsion and it is made up of heterogeneous group of polymeric compounds. Now emulsion, you can say that when we try to mix two immiscible liquids, then we get an emulsion. We can say that one small droplets of one liquid is dispersed in another liquid, so it will form an emulsion. And lot of different groups of compounds, like you can have proteins, you can have carbohydrates, lipids are there. So different groups of compounds are found in this latex. It is, we would have observed many plants, and when those plants are cut or if it is wounded, a milky fluid comes out. So basically that is latex. We would have seen them when we cut open a jackfruit, especially if it is not very ripe. So in that case a milky liquid comes out. So that is latex. In fig also, if it is wounded or pricked, a milky latex will come out. Now rubber is a very important commercial product which is basically made from latex. It is obtained from the latex of a plant, from rubber plant, and it is collected and then a proper rubber is made from that. Latex of papaya contains a very important enzyme, papain. So this papain enzyme is very useful in digestion of protein. Similarly, latex could also be found in this opium poppy species, in fig trees also, in milkweed like Calotropis plant. In that also leaves and stems, when they are pricked together, a milky latex come out. Now next important ergastic substances are gums, which are basically, gums are polysaccharide in nature. Polysaccharide as well as their derivatives form gums. These gums are exuded from stems of many plants, and we can see here that from bark of plant some sticky substances are coming out. So that could be gum, and gums are actually they are soluble in water. They absorb water and they swell to form a gel or viscous structure. They are sticky in nature. Some important commercial gum which is obtained is from acacia plant, which is gum arabica. It is commercial name is gum arabica. Now these gums have adhesive property because of their sticky nature, and many gums have medicinal properties. They are eaten also. Now similar to those gums, we have resin like structures. They also come out from plant cavity. So they are also sticky in nature. They are also somewhat solid structure which comes out from the plant. They have very complex chemical nature, but the difference is that gums are polysaccharide in nature, whereas resins are they are basically made up of terpenes. Okay. So now terpenes are not water soluble, they are lipophilic compounds. So the main difference is that resins are lipophilic compounds. So definitely they won't be soluble in water, they will be soluble in various organic solvents. Resins are useful to the plant because they protect plant from insect and pathogen. They can trap them also, they can prevent them from entry, and many times when the wound is created by those insect and pathogen, the resins are secreted in response to that injury. And these terpenes are basically more or less solid in structure, and when they are heated they will get softened and they will melt. They mostly coniferous tree like pine trees, they produce resin. Okay. An important resin which is obtained from pine trees, turpentine, means those resins are obtained, and an oil, turpentine oil. Turpentine oil is extracted from, means it is further processed, and an oil is made which has lot of commercial application. Another important resin is Canada balsam. This is used in preparing microscopic slides. Next important components are essential oils which are also present in plants. Now we would have heard of various oils like rose oil is there, jasmine oil is there, which have beautiful fragrance. Then you have lavender oil, cinnamon oil is there, which have lot of medicinal properties. Then peppermint oil is there. So these oils are also synthesized in the plant, and they are stored in the plant in special cells or gland, and they are basically volatile in nature, and they are liberated from the plants. The main purpose is definitely to attract pollinators, and they give different fragrance to the flower, fruit, bark, and wood also. Many a times we have heard of scented bark. So because of the presence of these essential oils in their some special glands, these fragrance is obtained, and their role, because they produce a very nice smell, so they will attract pollinators. For commercially also, these oils have lot of role. Many are used in cosmetic products. Many have medicinal properties like cinnamon oil is there, peppermint oil, clove oil is there. So all these oils have lot of medicinal properties. Similarly, another important ergastic substance is secretion of mucilage. Now mucilage are also these are products of metabolism. They are sticky substance, they are polysaccharide in nature, they also absorb water, and they swell and form a sticky or slimy solution, which many a times you will find across the plant cell, and they are produced by mucilage cavities or ducts. Sometimes trichomes, which we will see later, that they are hair-like outgrowths which are found on the outer surface of plant cells. They also secrete mucilage. These mucilage help in water storage. Now the last ergastic substance which we will discuss it, mineral crystals. Now most of the substances which we have discussed were organic in nature, but along and they were basically metabolic byproducts, but along with that there are many inorganic compounds also that are deposited in a plant cell, And these inorganic compounds, either they could be found loosely spread in a cell, or they will be aggregated into groups. Now they will be aggregated in the form of like crystals. You can find crystals of these compounds, and the most important inorganic compounds whose crystals are obtained are calcium oxalate crystal, calcium carbonate, and silica crystal. So calcium oxalate crystal is the most common type. Now different shapes of these crystals are present, like you can have needle-like crystals. Okay, now these needle-like crystals are known as raphites. These are present in rhizome of colocasia. Many a times you would have experienced that when you are using colocasia, when you are eating colocasia, or when you are cutting or dealing with it, some sort of irritation occurs in hand or in throat also. So it is because of those crystals. Now they could be prism shape also, which is found in leaves of lemon and begonia. Then star shaped crystals are also there, which are known as druses. Then another important crystal is calcium carbonate crystal. Now these calcium carbonate crystals, like in ficus, it is observed that these crystals form a deposition, they form a grape-like deposition. They aggregate together and they form a cluster, like in grapes you have a stalk. So in this they form a stalk, and they appear to be hanging from the wall of a cell. So that cell enlarges, okay, and in that grape-like or that aggregate of those crystals are found. So that aggregate is known as cystolith. And we can see here that on the outer some epidermal layers, generally these type of cystolith are present. So this type of deposition of these inorganic compound is also seen in many plant types. Silica crystals are also observed. Sometimes they form like on leaves of many plants. You can see they have rough appearance. So because of the presence of those silica crystals. So this was all about ergastic substances. And in the next class we will start with another important topic, which is about tissue. We will start learning about tissue, what are different forms of tissue, and what are their structure and how they are affecting the function of a plant. So thank you for today.